As Stephen Jones joins us now here on The Fan. And a good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great, thanks. We're looking forward to this opportunity against Carolina and some of the positive things that the Cowboys have done. Has everybody bounced back from that finish Monday night?
Yeah, I think everybody, it's great to see the guys that competitive and, in terms of it really affecting, at the end of the day, this is a team that, as a lot of people have said, could have mailed it in. And I think our guys are really competing at a high level. It means a lot to them. This team really wants to finish strong, and, they played well enough. They played their ass off and played well enough to win, but just had a very unfortunate error there at the end of the game. And, it's just, hats off to this team. They battled through a lot all year, the injuries and that we've had to overcome. And it feels like right now we get a couple back and then lose one. So, it's been one of those years, but hats off to Mike and his coaching staff. Have kept everybody focused, and I think we'll go out, and that's where everybody's focus is now. Let's go beat Carolina, and I think, that's what had a good week of practice, and I think we'll play well.
You mentioned the injury there. I think a lot of fans might have felt as bad as Micah Parsons did there post-game with Overshown's injury. What are the chances he could play next year?
That's just you got to see. You got to see how how the surgery goes, which it did go well, and then you got to just see how his rehab. Every player's different. I mean, some people come along at a lot faster pace than others, and if I were going to bet on anyone, it's Overshown, and I think he'll bust his ass. We got one of the best in the business, and Brett Brown in terms of rehabbing players, and if ever I could be optimistic, it'd be about something like this, and Overshown, beating the odds and being able to come back and help us next year.
How much does that impact the potential of linebacker moving up in the list of needs for you this offseason?
Oh, I think we have to look at that. I mean, it was already one, that we were going to have to look at. I mean, Kendricks has done a good job for us filling in this year, but obviously he's an older player, and it's great to have Maris, who's he's had a great year, young guy on the come, and certainly you got Overshown there, but obviously I think linebacker, regardless of the injury with Overshown, was going to be a place that we're certainly looking, to improve our roster.
Stephen, at the NFL, the meeting you just got back from this week, you were kind of talking about what was ahead potentially for your cap situation, stuff like that. Fans don't want to believe that you're in that situation, but you're not a BS guy. I mean, you really, there are things that we don't know about the cap that you guys are surely dealing with for 2025.
Well, like I said, I mean, I was probably, premature. Our focus right now is Carolina, and sure, we'll get into all the off-season stuff, what our needs are, where we go with our salary cap, the decisions that we make, the hard decisions that we make. All those things are things that we'll address the off-season. Right here in the middle of the season is not the time to address it.
Okay, with young guys, that might not be starting or playing a lot, like Tyler Guyton, is there a point in the season where you're playing them even if they aren't the best guys at each position because you want to get and see what they can develop?
Yeah, well, the only reason Tyler hadn't been playing is his injury, and he's active and getting through it, but he's not being able to get all the way through full practices and that type of thing, but felt like he could be an emergency player for us. But, we definitely, want to develop our young players and bring them along. And, as you play players, we've played players, young players at the beginning of the year knowing that, hey, a veteran might do a better job for a couple of weeks, but he's a more gifted guy, and he'll ultimately, get to where he needs to be and be the best player, for the long haul of the season. So, those are all things that go into the mix as we move forward. But like I said, our focus is on going out to Carolina and hopefully getting a win.
How's Cooper Beebe looking for Sunday?
He's making progress, but we'll have to see.
How are you looking at maybe the decision to pass the ball Monday night in the fourth quarter? Rico getting over 7 carried it 18 times. Would you have liked to seen some more running plays?
Well, that's just all on hindsight. I mean, I do think our running game's coming together, and you can always second guess. Hey, you should have run it or you should have thrown it. I mean, all those things get second guessed. When you don't win the game, we understand that. But the great news is our running game is coming together. I think Rico's, one of the top, the last 3 games. I think he's rushed right there, had as many yards as anybody. And it's great to see that running game coming together.
When it comes to the play calling, obviously you've got a head coach that also is the play caller. That's not uncommon in the league, but do you have to evaluate that differently based on the play caller offensive coordinator version of Mike McCarthy than what he does as a head coach?
No, I think Mike does a great job. I mean, any play calling can be second guess. Hell, those were 2 of the best. I watched the game last night. We all did. The San Francisco game last night, and watched that with interest, playing the Rams. And those are 2 of the best offensive minds in this league, and no touchdown in the game. So I'm sure somebody's second guessing that play calling too. But these guys, it's this league's hard. The NFL's hard. These NFL defenses are good, and anytime the results don't turn out right, then people are going to question.
A bit of a revenge game for Jonathan Mingo going back to Carolina. You trade a 4th-round pick for him. What have you seen from him since you've traded? And, do you like the return you've gotten to this point?
Yeah, I think he's really coming along. Anytime you bring a guy in, a young guy in the middle of the season, then, it does take some time. But we love his size, his speed, his attention to detail. He's just going to get better for us, and he'll be a guy that we're glad we're going to have around here for the next 3 years at a minimum.
Thanks, Steve, and give him hell out there. We'll be pulling for you.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.